In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth had seemed barren, void, formless, lifeless, dark. But over the waters of destructive chaos hovered the very Spirit of God. God was present there. And out of the darkness, he created light. Now you know the story. God went on to create more. He created animals and plants and a garden teeming with life. He created humanity, a people with a conscience who could walk and talk with God himself. He knew them and they knew him, and defined by the life the Creator had given them, they lived loved and seen and known and satisfied. But then came the day when they chose another way. See, it didn't seem enough to just know God. They wanted to be like God. They thought, if we could just take a little bit of his power and own it for ourselves, that would be better. But the problem was that people weren't worthy of the power they took. And in their fragile human state, taking a little bit of power from a pure and holy God could only mean it would be corrupted for dark and broken purposes. They no longer fit the cultural DNA of the garden. They'd broken the code of conduct, and their fragility was on show in forms of insecurity and shame and pain and blame. God could no longer have them in the land of the pure. So he opened the door for them into a land which was far more aligned to the life they had chosen. And yet in comparison to the garden they had previously been dwelling in, the earth seemed void, fallen, broken, lifeless, formless, dark. Again and again, God extended a hand of mercy to the people to rescue them from the land of brokenness they had chosen. Again and again, he made a way where there had seemed no other way. But the problem was, as God went on to rescue his people from this slavery they were in, the slavery they had chosen internally was so ingrained in them that it arose again and again as they clung to idols of hatred and evil and hurt. Years went by and destruction seemed to cover the earth as the people did only what was right in their own broken eyes. As the people seemed to only do what was right in their own broken perspective, centuries of brokenness took place. Until the Creator finally said, I'll go. I'll take the rap for this brokenness. I'll do whatever it takes to rescue my people from this darkness they have chosen, whatever it takes. No more shall the earth be covered in darkness. No longer shall the earth seem void and barren and lifeless and formless and dark. I'll take the rap. I'll do whatever it takes. And so we fast forward to Good Friday, the day when this Creator who breathed life into all things back at the very beginning was handed a death sentence by the very ones he had created. Good Friday. It was a slow day. A culmination of all that was evil in the earth gathered itself together in one execution sentence against the very maker of the earth. It was an unfair trial instigated by an unfounded grudge. And the very saviour of the world was lifted up onto a cross. It all seemed so upside down. Excruciating bolts of pain shot through his body. up his legs, down his arms, through his spine, a crushing not just physically but emotionally, spiritually, as all of darkness gathered itself together in one violent coup to make an advancement for what it believed to be the ultimate crown, the ultimate victory. Darkness covered the earth as the day became like night. It seemed as in the beginning the earth was void and barren and lifeless and formless and dark. The earth itself quaked with the weight. The curse of neglect and betrayal and torture, the curse of pain and shame and guilt, the curse of fear and anxiety, the terror of death laid heavy on him. The sustainer of the universe gasped for breath, and the very planet he sustained was on the brink of destruction. It all seemed so upside down. And with his last words, the Saviour paints a picture of forgiveness for the far man and beloved community for the near, before finally he lets out his own need, a thirst. A thirst for communion with the very ones who put him here. I thirst, he cried. I thirst. And it was just as Isaiah said, one look at him and I looked away. I looked down on him, I thought he was scum. But really it was my disfigurements that put him there, my failures, my brokenness. We thought God was punishing him for what he'd done, for who he'd been. But really it was us. It was our failures that hung him there. My brokenness put you here. The shame I feel, the pain I've caused, the brokenness I've seen, it all seems as though it can never be shaken. And yet here you are, Lord, hanging here. The Christ child, grown and yet still pure. Everything that was meant for me is being laid on you. And now I see, Lord, now surely I know the love you show, the servitude is something I could never show. So with all of me, God, I cry to you, less of me and more of you, less of me and more of you. A crushing debt I could never repay. I say, take all of me, Lord, take all of me, that in your great sacrifice I might also acquire all of you. And in your mercy, Lord, find me hungry for communion. For I am hungry for the sacrifice you made and hungry for the life you gave. Less of me and more of you. And as we dwell here in the Friday part of your great story, I say, take myself, God, and hang it there with you. No more shall I cling to the idols of hurt that I have done in the past. Less of me and more of you. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth had seemed barren, void, formless, lifeless, dark. But over the waters of destructive chaos hovered the very Spirit of God. God was present there. And out of the darkness, he created light. Now surely as my Saviour hangs, the earth seems void, barren, lifeless, formless and dark. All of light has fled and darkness overshadows us. And yet over the torrent of destructive chaos, over what seems to be the ultimate crown, the ultimate victory, but all of the powers of evil, hovers the very Spirit of God. God is present, even here. And out of darkness, God creates light. A new creation, perhaps. Sunday's